All right, guys, welcome back to Comics Only, the only podcast where comedians talk about comedy with other comedians. My guest today is writer and comedian Alex Aguilar. What's up, dude?
Yo, what's up, Eric? How you doing?
I'm good. Hey, we're on the podcast.
Hey, happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Someone's turning 8.
Yeah.
How cool would it be if you were just a rough 14?
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
If I just had done so much meth that I'm still a child. It'd be pretty cool if I was as good at comedy as I am right now when I was 14.
14, dude. I
get so jealous of you young guys.
Oh, dude, it's
How old are you?
I'm 22, so I'm like getting to where it's not cool anymore. But
I don't know. You, Matt, and Aldo, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's other young guys
for sure. Yeah, it was like starting young was weird because like I started. So I did like improv first. I know, loser. I did I did improv when I was like 16.
Yeah.
And starting on that was like I was in high school.
That's a huge leg up, even as much as comedians shit on improv.
Oh, dude,
I'm taking my second improv class with Brian at Stir Crazy. Coming up, starts in a week about.
Oh, that's awesome.
A week from yesterday.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, improv is like so fun, especially if you have
fun. I can tell one of the things I'm worst at in stand-up is like thinking on my feet and being in the moment and willing to like abandon what I was going to say for what is relevant to the moment. Yeah. And I want to get better at that. Sometimes a crowd won't go with you until you can show that you're in the room with them.
Yeah, that's so true. So like when I first started stand-up, because I started stand-up like specifically right after the pandemic, like during pretty much. And because nothing else, I can do improv anymore. So I was like, okay, like I want to do stand-up. And my original problem was like my written material sucked.
Yeah, that's fun. That's funny. That's a funny. Yeah, that's the opposite of my problem. Yeah, I'm a decent writer and I've written my whole life, and it took me years to be able to get good enough at performing to like truly do I what the things I had written justice. Yeah,
to be able to perform it. And like I had the performance was down, and then like if my written was bombing, I would just start doing crowd work. I would start doing like. Honestly, before a lot of like that stuff's like popular now, but that's how I would like get through mics and stuff. And then, it was like I had this tool and I was like, I was just gonna sit here and bomb. And then eventually I was like, okay, no, like I'm not gonna do crowd work. I'm just gonna sit in my bomb if my shit sucks. Yeah, because then it'll force me to be like, I fucking suck. I have to get better. I gotta go right. Like, or else I just like leave the open mic feeling good. Yeah, and I'm like, well, Matt laughed like the last 3 minutes when I gave up on my material.
They liked when I called that guy gay.
Yeah. Yeah. They liked when I made the callback or how that guy looks like a predator.
Comedy's such a weird thing because like oftentimes like the smarter, better thing won't get a laugh. Oh, absolutely. You're like trying to be as basic as possible, and like
for sure.
It's like sometimes just such lowbrow humor is like the funniest. At least to me still. I don't know. Same. It's such a weird.
Yeah, I still get. There's people that'll get me off of like it's technically like low hanging fruit, but just like the fact that they said it.
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, there's a lot of that as a comic that like you just can't believe somebody said something. Yeah. Do you know Randall Rosie?
Yeah,
he's been doing this joke recently. Do you know this joke? He goes, "What's worse, being racist or homophobic?" He's like, "Because I'm both." And then he goes, "I'm kidding. I'm not racist." It's like, yo, that's wild. That's such a wild thing to say, dude. He did it in a room full of gay people the other day. They got upset with him. They loved him until that line, and then they were just like, "No, what did you say?"
There is something awesome about like turning a room against you.
Oh yeah, that's always, dude. It can be fun. Somebody was just telling me Patrice O'Neill used to do that a lot. He was like, I'm going out there and the first bit I'm doing is going to piss him off and we'll see if I can get him back. Yeah.
I used to do that. I used to run the show at ASU. Yeah. And like they're like a young crowd, and it's kind of like my generation. I feel like younger kids are really like PC sometimes. Nothing wrong with that. It's not like I go up there and I'm like, I'm racist and homophobic. Just as a statement. I'm not knocking it. I think that's a great joke. That's fucking hilarious.
Funny. It's such a wild thing to say.
I'd laugh in person if you did it in front of me. But it was funny that like I don't know. Sometimes it would feel like pandering, and sometimes I would just like lose them on purpose, and then it's like, all right, I'll get them back. But,
right. That's the word. Yeah. I hate pandery type comedy.
Yeah.
Where like, I don't know. I've been really enjoying being in Arizona because I finally feel like I can write jokes about conservatives a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I did not like doing jokes about conservatives in Eugene, where I was at, where it's so liberal. It's like, there's not even any conservatives in the room. It's like we're bashing a fucking minority right now. Like, like, this isn't cool. Like, I like making fun of liberals when there's liberals in the room. Like, I like making you laugh at yourself, not
for sure
other people.
Yeah, I feel like that's gotta be hard for the PNW. Yeah, I just feel like, but I also thought on the outskirts there would be a lot of redneck.
There is. So it was such a weird thing because, like, there's in these pockets like Portland and Eugene, it's so liberal. Yeah. And then like 10 minutes outside of town, all of a sudden, all the jokes that work there don't fucking work, and you have to go back to just, you know, being sexist or homophobic or whatever. I don't know. You don't have to do that. But definitely like more conservative, like right outside of town. A good friend of mine, he booked a bunch of shows in small towns, and it was just wild how different the crowds were from what we're used to.
I bet.
But those small towns show up to shit, dude.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I feel like Arizona's growing to the point now where it's like it's not really like that anymore. I was just talking to my Uber driver last night about it, and I was like, this dude, I'm driving, like, I'm getting Uber from Scottsdale home, and he was we're like talking about the area that I grew up in and stuff, how it developed, and it's like weird because it used to just be like farmland. Yeah, so it used to be like bad real estate because it smelled like shit every day. Sure. And then like it's the worst. But then like after that, this guy tells me about his life. He's like, yeah, I just did 21 years in prison. I just got out last month. I was like, that's crazy.
He's driving Uber.
Yeah.
What were you in prison for 21 years? I know. That's what I was like. I was like, so I was like kind of dancing around it. I was like, so like, you into drugs? Is that trying to pro? Like, so should you drop me off a couple of feet away from my house or a couple doors down? Like, what's up? And he was a cool guy, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I was like, hopefully.
He was also in prison for 21 years.
I know. I was like, I feel like that's a lot for a drug charge.
I feel like there's people who murdered people that didn't go to jail for prison for that long.
I was like, he must have murdered someone wall high on meth.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah. Dude, so for my day job, I teach people like how court works. Okay. Yeah. Like people have been found incompetent. Gotcha. I'm supposed to try and make them competent. So it's just basically teaching people how court works. So I go to see this woman the other day, and it's my first time seeing her. And I'm like, hey, so do you know what you're charged with? And she's like, nope. I was like, do you remember like what happened when you were arrested? She's like, nope. I'm like, do you want to know? She's like, yeah, sure. I was like, okay. So I go and pull up her information, and she's in there for murder. She killed somebody. I was like, holy shit. It's like, so it says here you killed somebody. Does that sound familiar? She's like, nope. I'm like, okay.
That's crazy. Someone taught her well.
Yeah, dude. I don't know.
Her lawyer was like, don't say anything.
I mean, she's pretty like, out there. Like most of the people I work with are like heavily schizophrenic.
Okay, I could see that.
Like, so who knows?
They're like, it wasn't.
Who knows?
It was Rosario.
That's all I can say.
My
like she seems quite crazy. But that also may be how you just acted if you just murdered someone.
That's true. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
No, maybe I'll try it out. I'm still young.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'll see what's up.
Yeah. It's so weird to think about, like, 150 years ago, murder was so much more common. Oh, like, that was the way people, like, solved problems. I feel like it wasn't, like, necessarily an everyday thing, but it was pretty close.
I feel like 50 years ago.
Yeah, for sure, in certain spots. Yeah.
Like my parents talk about like just what their life was. They grew up in a really bad area. They grew up in like I don't know if you know where like MacArthur Park is in like downtown LA. It's like horrible. It was like
a bad part of LA. Yeah,
murder capital of the world.
It was like real bad parts of LA.
Yeah, and it was just this their daily life. I was like, damn, just like
glad you made it out.
Yeah, I was like, how are we here? Like, how did you get out? You know.
Yeah. So you're 22. How long have you been doing comedy
now? Technically about 5 years.
That's good, dude. That's so crazy to me. Like, I mean, by the time you're my age, you'll have been doing comedy like 15 years.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's crazy. Or I mean, as long as you don't stop or die or anything. As long as Andy Chung doesn't shoot up an open mic.
I just hope I get there. Honestly, like, I think it'd be cool though. Like, That's what I gotta remember though. It's like, yeah, I am. Yeah, because sometimes I am just like, I gotta like work harder. I gotta, fucking, But at the same time, I think what's hard about starting young. This is what I was originally gonna say. What's hard about starting young is like you don't really have that much life experience, and that's like everyone says that. But
no,
like,
it's very true. But like, what are you gonna do? Like,
exactly.
Fucking go. Just make sure you keep going having experiences.
Yeah.
It's the advice I try to give to Matt and Aldo, and I feel like they don't want to hear it. It's like, you guys need to do shit besides stand up. You're both very good at stand up.
That's real, and like I think they're both great, and I think like their work ethic shows and like their jokes.
It absolutely does. And what they just haven't quite realized is they can work basically just as hard as they are now while still having like real experiences.
I agree with that, because so like back when I was like 19, I was like working at the Tempe Improv, and I got like a cool gig like the comics during like that time like wouldn't do sound check, so I would just get the stage like at the Improv or like before my shift, so I would just get to like run it, and like basically like I think about that now and how like crazy that is. Like if I got that opportunity now, and it's like, and I mean, I don't want to like depersonalize it. Like I know like the managers and stuff, but like just the idea of like being able to try out your material on that stage, no one's there, you get used to that stage, and then also like, the managers listening and like your coworkers listening. That was like so crazy. I was like 19.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I remember being like 19, and I was like, I would get to like open up new faces and stuff.
That's crazy.
And it was like way before I think about it now, and I'm like, crazy that that opportunity. I thought about it. There's a point in time where I genuinely was thinking, like, should I even, like, do school? Like, should I just I was like, I should just drop out and fucking just do full time.
Don't do that.
And then I really thought about it, and I was like, well, also, like, because then comedy at ASU came back. Like, we could do comedy again.
Yeah.
And I was lucky. Like, I had these group of people that I had been doing comedy and improv with them for, like 4 years.
Yeah, it's real.
So it was just like, oh, this is the only time I can get this. So I'll just run this out, and then afterwards I'll focus on stand up. But there's a lot of stuff just from like college that I'm like, oh, thank God, like I can actually fucking talk about this. That's relatable. Like I can relate to people.
Yeah,
I think that's like exactly what you're saying. Like relating to people is everything. That's what I'm trying to realize. Like before I was like, I don't need fucking anything. Like I'm just doing comedy, no girlfriend, no nothing, no fucking fuck that shit. And really, it's like the best jokes or the best premises I feel like I got was just like working a shitty job, and like having to figure out how to be young and have a girlfriend and also go to school and like just shit that like
anything you're not used to too. That's just like a new experience. Your first relationship, your first breakup. Whatever, your first job. That's all, your next job. Yeah. And how it's different from your first job. It's just, it is important to do stuff.
Absolutely.
Like whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most comics don't have that problem. Most comics are doing enough cocaine in the bathroom that they're for sure having life experiences. What was that? So Tempe Improv was probably the first club you did then. Did you get a job there before you ever did a set? Where did you do your first set?
I did my first set. I think I was like 16 or 17 at Improv Mania. That was the spot back because I'm from that area.
Sure.
So like that was like the first place that was like I could get up.
I went to Improv Mania one time before it turned into Mic Drop.
Okay, yeah. It was honestly like Mic Drop's cool, but like Improv Mania, like that room was so.
It was pretty sick.
It was so like tight. And it was basically you were doing like a show. I mean, like people would bring an actual audience, and if you were in the first like 15, it's a great audience. You could actually try out your shit. So awesome. Like it was so sick. And it was cool. It was like grounds where, it was like up and coming.
Sure. They didn't have their mic outside.
Dude, okay, like I was just thinking about that the other day because it's been like rained out the past couple weeks, and I was like, I got up this last week and before it rained out, so I was like, I don't care. But like I was thinking about the summer, and I was like, why the fuck could I even go? Because you can't even remember your set. You're so hot.
Yeah. Matt's having a fucking stroke in the bathroom, and you're like trying to remember your set.
I remember like getting pissed. I was like a couple sets on stage pissed off. I was like, I ain't fucking whatever.
I get mad at how hot I am at Wayward.
Yeah. Oh, Wayward's hot too.
It's not even outside.
I haven't been to Wayward. I'm not like I can't get out there in time to like actually get a spot and like but yeah, every time I've been out there during the summer, it is just like I'm drenched in my own puddle of Alex.
Yeah. Fucking yeah. It sucks doing comedy here, dude. Period. But also, I don't know if you know because you've only really done comedy here. Yeah. It's the fucking worst, dude. Everything's so fucking far apart. It's so hot. So much of the time, like there's just like I don't know. It's pretty good actually, like November through
for sure. Well, like
April.
A fucking Arizona summer is like a Boston winter.
Yeah,
just like
it's brutal,
horrible for. And this year was like ridiculous. I remember so like my birthday's around May, and like so it was hot from my birthday until like November, like mid-November. And I was like, why do I put up with it? Like, I could probably find somewhere else to live. Like, why do I put up with this?
Yeah. I mean, everywhere else, the winters kind of suck, except for like LA and San Diego.
I've heard
good
about
luck
that.
living there. Like, I mean, unless you can make good money, but
no, I agree. I mean, yeah, my family. I have like my whole family.
I've heard the comedy scene's fucking sick in San Diego, though.
Me too.
I've heard there's like LA. A lot of clubs, and there's not that many comics compared to like LA.
Well, I did comedy in LA recently, and it was like, I'm not gonna lie, it was bad. It was like, oh, how do you even? It actually feels like when people are like, it feels like so hopeless at first. I'm like, oh yeah, I could see that if you're doing it in LA. LA feels hopeless. It's like 3 minutes. Everything is like you can only get up like twice, and I truly believe that.
Yeah, it feels hopeless here, dog. Fucking. I don't know how many times you can just go bomb at Pub Rock and Tempe Tavern and then still try to convince yourself you're good at comedy, but it's not easy.
I think what's nice is like here is like at least I truly think there's scenes places, but I think there's an actual community here. I think word gets out if you're good.
Like, the community here is chill as fuck, dude. Like people are real cool to each other. It's so interesting to me, like because
I've gotten a lot of stuff just from like people hit me up. They're like, X said you're great, and I like would love to have you on the show. I'm like, would love to do it. Awesome, you know.
That's sick. The Portland scene is so like toxic, and there's like this like masquerade of fucking like morality where they're like, you can't joke about like you can't punch down or joke about minorities or women or anybody, and then at the same time like they're like a bunch of like creepy people that make women uncomfortable or part of the scene, and it's like,
and they're probably the ones being like, you can't, you know,
the most,
like,
dude.
They're just trying to get pussy. Like,
and it's just so weird. That like there's this like umbrella of like we're better, and then like people are just shitty to each other, and then here it's like. Everybody's mean to each other, but it's with like a lot of love.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's also I wouldn't like it's not like passive aggressive.
No, it's very like, aggressive.
If people have like a problem, they'll just tell you. Yeah. It's like, or they'll say it on stage in front of everybody.
A lot of that. Somebody got mad at me actually.
So crazy.
Who I don't. It doesn't matter. A comic here got mad at me because somebody like made fun of her on stage.
Okay.
And I can't remember. Somebody said something about her, or she said something about somebody, and I was like, you should just. I think what it was she was talking shit about another comic, and I was like, you shouldn't do this unless you're on stage, like. Was my like just if you I know what you I don't want like, you bad mouthing this person to me. Just like make it funny and say it into a microphone.
Honestly, like, I respect that because it's like everyone talks shit. Everyone talks shit about like this person. Whatever,
I think so.
Like, most like 90%. If you say you don't, I think you just like don't. I don't know.
One time I was gonna.
Everyone thinks it at least.
I have this bit that I do where I get people T-shirts with like really horrible people on them. Like I got Devin a shirt with R. Kelly on it, and I was asking Aldo who the worst person he knows is, and he goes, man, I thought you were gonna ask who the worst comic I know is. I was so ready to talk about that. I was like, really? Like, that's not healthy, dude. You probably shouldn't worry about that.
That is true, honestly. Like every time you get caught up in it, it's just like, oh, I'm wasting my time right now.
Yeah, it's no good. But the flip side of that coin is there's nothing more depressing than watching like a comic that you don't respect just fucking murder in a room you just bombed in.
There's sometimes rooms it's just like Well, that's kind of the thing. I think what I learned about like the whole Crowd thing was just like, okay, like I can tell when someone is like killing because the talent of their jokes, or like, at least, they figured out how to like turn the room, or it's kind of just like, oh, like this is kind of a one-off. Like there's no actual like rhyme or reason to this,
Right.
Like if
It
anything,
happens.
yeah, like they're probably just like you said, they're probably just like saying being racist. Like,
Yeah,
a lot
sometimes,
of
yeah.
those Arizona bars is just like,
The fact is, nobody's as good as their best set or as bad as their worst set. They're the sum of all their sets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
that's right.
But so every now and then, even really bad comics just catch like a magical room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's really, But sometimes you did bad in those rooms, and that can be a lot to deal with. So let's see. You started. So when did you? So did you started doing comedy before you started working at Tempe Improv?
Yeah.
How much did that help you a lot working there?
Oh, honestly, like it gave me such a head start in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, also I was the first guy to do, like, not ever, because there were some guys, like I know like Luis worked at like Stand Up Live. There's a couple other guys, but I out of the pandemic, I was like the first like comic that was starting to work at like the clubs.
Yeah.
Because I remember when like a couple of my buddies, they were like, "Oh, I just got a job here, and like it helps a lot. Like it helped me a lot. I think that's what made me get a relationship with Rob Green, like because I was the guy who had to check people in, like see like how many people got
people
comics.
like the people they know a lot of the time.
Yeah,
right.
and then I went up to him. I think about this too, because I think about like there's something about like 19-year-old confidence that's just like insane. Because I literally,
you're insane at 19.
Literally,
it's so true.
Because I think about it now, I was like, because I like get the tally for how many like people that comics brought, and then I would give it to him, and I was like, I would just ask him like, hey, how do you become like the guy with the guest spots that don't have to bring 10 people?
Yeah.
He's like, I gotta see you. And I was like, oh yeah, like when you want to see me? And he's like, I'll pull you up right now. Like, I'll see if you're funny.
Damn.
And it was right
pressure's on, huh?
It was right then and there, and I was just, but I was like, I was not dumb, but I was just like, yeah, like if I'll get it now or never, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did it, and then for a while it was like I wouldn't even know I was going up. Like I would be working my job, and then I was really good friends with the Alec Bird. Shout out, he's awesome. He used to be the sound guy at Tempe Improv.
Okay.
And he would come up to me. He's just like, hey, like, do you want to open up the show? Like, not host, but like be the first comic they see.
Sick.
And he was like, he would just come in, and I'm like, okay. So I had like 5 minutes from like working to like, oh, I'm gonna be on stage right now.
Yeah.
And that was like that experience alone. I didn't realize how invaluable that was.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because that was just like cold start.
Mm-hmm.
And
do you think it made it harder to like
go to fucking mics? Yeah.
Yeah.
The best possible case scenario to like,
because there's a lot of comics here that like they start at New Faces, and then you just never, you see them at Stir Crazy, you see them at New Faces, and then you don't ever see them anywhere else, and you're just like, well, that's not how comedy works.
And I had to deal with like that, because then it was like, then I would go bomb for a fucking week straight, and then all of a sudden, like once it came to the New Faces, but that made it so like when I would do New Faces though, it was like if anything worked at the mics, like New Faces would destroy. Right. It was like they thought it was the funniest fucking thing ever.
I've always said that like you have to do both good and bad rooms.
For sure.
There's nothing I respect less than a comic who fucking avoids hard rooms. They're like, I don't want to go bomb at Pub Rock. It's like, just go bomb. Who gives a shit? Go say something you've never said before. Do you know who Tom Takar is?
I don't know.
He's a New York comic. Okay. Actually, he lives in L.A. now, but he was a New York comic, and he's like a seller guy.
Okay,
And he did Stir Crazy a couple months ago. And he was talking about how he still goes to mics. And that's exactly what he said was, he's like, I never say anything I've said before, but I still do open mics. And he's like a professional touring comic. Like,
I think if you look at like a lot of people who are doing well in the scene and are consistently getting better, they're, getting all the opportunities they're getting, but like they're out at the mics.
Right. Yeah. You have to do the tough rooms that it's hard to make anybody laugh in.
Like I'll say,
you don't know how good a joke is until you try it on somebody that doesn't want to laugh.
Like Tempe Tavern, like exactly, yeah. Like if you can make people laugh, that like comedy is like happening to them.
Yeah, it's like actively bothering them, and you still make them laugh. Yeah, that's money.
I'll still bomb.
That's how you know jokes like good.
Yeah. Like I genuinely like I love Tempe Tavern.
Me too.
Like I think it's great to have to like if there's like 2 people there that like aren't comics.
I mean, I have a breakdown on stage there twice a month, but I love it too.
Honestly, this past week I was pissed.
I think it's like 7 weeks in a row now I've actively said to Jeremy, like, I don't know why I come here, dude. And he's just like, you keep coming back. He always says the nicest things about me, too. He's like, this comic is very funny. I'm glad he's here tonight. And then I just go and bomb my dick up. I don't even know what you're basing this intro on. I've never done good here.
It's funny how, like, sometimes, like you know, like, it doesn't matter, like, how cool opportunity, like, sometimes like a random mic will kind of get you. Yeah, you're just like, damn.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, like anything might kind of get you, dude. I had what I would describe as a decent set at Stir Crazy the other night, and I came off stage like I had bombed. Like that's how I felt.
I'm finding that like the more, you know, the higher the bar gets for me, because I've had sets where it's like, you know, you fucking kill.
Well, especially like there. It's like you're at Stir Crazy in a sold out room, you should do well.
You should do at least well,
you know, and so like doing decent, I was like, fuck, that wasn't good enough. Like,
yeah, I feel that. And also like, well, like recently I think I've only been there for like the mic. So it's like what I kind of, for that one, I'm just like, you know, like I'm going to make use of the time.
It's
like,
a mic.
I truly want to see like if this works, and I'm not going to just use like safe stuff.
Right.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that's like an important part for like other comics to see you also like try shit. Even if you fail, it's like,
of course,
yeah, you see me kill though, so whatever.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it's still a mic, even if it's a sold out room.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, and it's also like it is good feedback. It's like, yeah, it doesn't work. You know. But
yeah, it's crazy how like, and then like doing okay at like fucking pub rock can feel like you crushed.
Oh yeah, dude.
You're like, man, they paid attention to me. They're like, that one guy turned around.
It does. Funny. Honestly, the worst rooms teach you how to like. Well, I feel like a bad part of those rooms sometimes is like you can be. Sometimes you can just be very. What's it called? Like you can come off as. Sometimes how to like survive in those bad rooms is like. You almost have to seem like you care a little bit less than they do.
Right.
And so
I'm literally just calling the host drunk. I'm making fun of Christian for being blackout drunk.
Yeah.
Pub rock.
There's like a thing in like I feel like bars where it's like if you look like you're trying too hard, they're not about it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Like, that's why material doesn't work.
Yeah. And like I think with like if you do a club or something, it's like they're there for that reason. So like if you seem like you don't give a fuck, it's like I don't care that I'm here, like fuck you guys. It's like they paid money. They want to feel like something special. There's also a thing of like, you know, especially if like the room's kind of small. Like people like feeling like they bought tickets to something that is like, if they see a lot of people, they're like, oh, this is gonna be cool, you know, like this is. So it's like if like there's not that many people, plus you're like, yeah, whatever. I'm just trying new shit. You guys don't deserve my good shit. Fuck you. You're lame. And then like they'll just turn on you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think you're cluing into something very important. It's like you have to match the crowd.
Absolutely.
Or learn how to be so powerful that you can convince the crowd to match you. But like part of what we do is building a synergy between us and the crowd. And if you don't do that, they're not going with you.
I think the past like 6 months of like, cause I mean, I knew I did improv. I did all this stuff. Like I knew I could like make the joke. I knew I could write the joke.
Yeah.
It was just more about like, you know, I didn't know I was bombing every once in a while, and then it was like, okay, like, yeah. Now this past 6 months has been all about connecting. Like I'll connect at mics. Like, I'll like, you know, and I feel like it's probably like in my head where it's like I think, you know, some other people are like, why is he, you know, like you go up top like how's everyone doing, and like I do a joke off of like the last comic, you know. It's like I feel like I did it for you like recently. Like I did a joke. I didn't.
You did. Yeah. I forget where.
Yeah, and it was like I just did like a quick tag on it, and then it's like, but it opens up the crowd. It gets them like, you know, opened up, and it's like a lot of that is like like host work,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to like keep things going that I learned from like, some of those gigs. And it's like,
God, hosting's so good for you. If there's any young comics listening, out of the 30 people who listen to this podcast regularly, please start more open mics in Phoenix. It's fucking insane how many fucking mics there are for how big a scene it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, there should be way more.
It'd be so
in Portland, you can do like 4 or 5 a night.
That's crazy.
And they're so much closer together.
Yeah.
They're like probably like at max 20 minutes apart.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to me that's I mean, it's weird how much I've gotten used to being in a fucking car here, dude. It's like,
dude, the area where I'm now, like, this is technically like 40 minutes away from me about.
Yeah.
And like, dude, like I think about like Tuesdays, because I literally have to go from like kind of the same distance but through the city.
It's the worst. You hit traffic.
Oh
and then,
my god, dude! The 10 is a fucking
the 10 is like the Wild Wild West, dude. It's so scary. There's fucking motorcycles going past at like 150.
Yeah.
There's cars zipping by at like 120. The speed of traffic's 85.
Yeah, dude.
It's busy.
I was like the last 3 times I've been on this end of the 10.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like 3 car accidents. Like every time I've seen like in front of me, just like
people die on that freeway all the time, dude. It's crazy. It's scary. It's gotta be one of the most dangerous freeways in America.
I love the West Valley though. I think
West Valley's chill.
Yeah,
it's cool out here.
I like the vibe. This is like old. This is like old Chandler vibe.
I think it's gonna be popping in like 10 years.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure.
Yeah, I hope, because I'm out here, dude. I live 10 minutes west of here.
Okay, hell yeah. That's awesome.
I mean, it's kind of awesome. It's far from.
For sure.
I fucking live so far from Mic Drop. I live an hour from JP's. Not that I don't think that really matters for me, but
I mean, I live.
Do you ever do JP's?
Not anymore. Back when it was like COVID time, that was the only thing I opened.
I think I would if I lived closer, but like also it just makes me like
for me, I
feel
think
bad.
Just the money.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. Yeah.
Like I'm just like I can get time other places, and also
it's funny because like I would pay $5 if I could do Stir Crazy every week. Yeah, I would pay that no problem.
And I think and like this isn't a knock.
I mean, I pay $5 to go to Stir Crazy as a standby a lot
to stand in the back of the room. Yeah, and I think JP is like a great room. I think it's awesome. I think it's also great for clips and like. What I noticed was that like sometimes there's a very giving audience. And this is the same problem I had when I ran this show at ASU, where it was like a lot of times, you would do that and then you would go to like a different room in the Valley, and it just wouldn't translate. Like it was like, oh, maybe that's not as good as I thought it was.
Right. Well, you always got to be careful with that with hot rooms.
Exactly, and I think that's like good for that. That club that's like it's always a pretty hot room, but
that's sick. Yeah, that's a good quality for a club to have.
Yeah, but also like I remember I would like do that mic and then I would go do like every other mic and I was like, okay, there's a different like
interesting
barrier of entry for like okay, I just gotta be even funnier.
Yeah,
and then what's nice is when you go back, then you're like a murder in that room.
It's cool. For sure. A lot of comedy in our drama scene lately, huh?
Yeah. Dude, I think it's crazy to like, and this is gonna sound like sociopath. I think it's crazy to like care about anyone else like that.
Yeah. Right. Oh my God. Yeah.
To invest any time in like any like.
This is my advice about it. Yeah. Like this is what I tell people. It's like if something offends you, that should make you excited. And you should realize that you care about something too much. Just as advice for comics, not regular people. Regular people can be offended by whatever they want.
They can do it.
This is a different world. There's nothing sacred in our world. People are going to bring up whatever. They're going to bring up your sister that died in a car accident. They're going to fucking make funny. Dude, you know who Craig Gass is?
I don't. No.
Really? Okay. So Craig Gass is a comic. He tours a lot.
Okay.
He drops into Stir Crazy and laughs a lot. He does voices on like Family Guy and the Howard Stern show. So that's like his bread and butter, but then he tours doing comedy as well.
Sick.
And we were all hanging out after he dropped into Stir Crazy one night, and he was talking about how his mom used to live in Arizona, so he'd come to Arizona every Christmas.
Oh yeah.
But he's like, but she just died this year, so I don't know like what I'm going to do for Christmas this year. And this comic goes, free at last, huh, bro? Hands with his hand up for the fist bump. And it just murdered. And like, regardless of how Craig felt about it, he just had to be like, it's funny. It did well.
I think there's something awesome about that, dude.
I think that's what humor's for and what I like it for. And I can't stand when people are like, you can't joke about that. It's like, no, we have to joke about everything.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
But
that's how, I mean, like, I feel like it's a big reason. Anyways, like, that's a big reason why, like, honestly, I think comedy for me was just to, like, smooth things over. I think it's just very, like, I don't know, very dramatic. I feel like a lot of when I was going to say, I don't think they were just like dramatic. And I feel like I was like, maybe this is like, I am a sociopath, but it was just like, it's not that big, let's chill out. And then, like, the easy way to do that, to like get that to everyone else is just like joking. If you're funny enough, you can make everyone chill out. And that's what I've like.
Yeah, you can cut tension.
Yeah.
God, like a good joke is just the best.
It's good dating too. Like if you're, if you're arguing and then you get like one that's like undeniably funny. And sometimes
that's such a comics brain. When you get a joke in there in an argument, that's the best.
Where it's like
when you can make a woman who's upset with you. I mean, that's literally is the best. When you can make a woman that's upset with you laugh.
I think it's when there's like when it's an argument, like there's no right answer.
Right.
Where it's just like, you feel this way about this, and I genuinely don't feel that way. Like, and I think like, dude, we're not gonna agree on this. It's like, but I know you want to win.
Right.
I think it was like, let's just like laugh about how stupid. Who gives a fuck about fucking anything?
It's the best. That's what it's for
sure.
God, I feel like ever since I was a kid, everything I said I was trying to be funny. Like when I was hanging out with my boys, like in high school. Yes. It's like 99% of the things we said were literally jokes or going for one,
That was like, I've
always really valued humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know all my friends were like, I think it was like the funniest people.
Yeah. I know. Isn't that a weird thing that it's like, it's not like the funniest people who get on stage. It's just like the people who are able to overcome like that fear of public speaking. And then also have like some weird need for attention for some reason.
Dude, there's some
like whatever it is, but like there's some people that they're probably not like scared to do stand up, but they're also like, I don't need to. Like I don't feel any need.
Care. Like they get enough validation from when they do it with their friends.
There's a lot of people who would like to and are scared.
Yeah.
There's much smaller percentage are not scared. They just don't care.
Yeah.
Basically none, but
just
maybe
people.
Those people, it's so fascinating to me.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. I think like, growing up, dude, there's so many people I know that I'm like, oh, you're probably like the funniest person I've ever met in my entire life. Like, I've never, and like they just naturally know timing. They naturally know like how to say the worst thing at the right time.
Just so good at talking shit. I played baseball with this kid. He lived with me at some point. He would have been so great at stand up, and he's just like a fucking alcoholic who, drinks too much and doesn't do anything now, and it kind of sucks. Like I didn't know though. Like I wish I could go back in time to when he was like 20 and be like, just do stand up, dude. You'll be fine. Trust me.
Dude.
It's this weird world where all of the things that like are wrong with you are perfectly fine and acceptable there. Oh, you drink a little too much? Come on in. It's so wild to me how much like cigarettes, cocaine, and drinking and driving are still part of the comedy community, especially in Phoenix. But I'm telling you, dog, everywhere I've been, they're real popular.
I know. I don't understand. I guess. Well, I guess I can see the. I guess there's like a place for like if you're too nervous, people drink. If like you're not awake, people do cocaine, and then people have to get home.
There's. Yeah, right. Yeah. It's just part of the addiction, I guess, when you put it that way.
It's just like simple things.
They're like, I'm not going to do a set sober, so they have a couple drinks. They're not going to fucking drive all sleepy, so they're doing cocaine. That's a really fun. That's a bit. You could use that as a bit.
I got good advice.
Hey, Alex, write that down.
I got like good advice from someone that's like still like really big in our scene. He's like one of the greats, and he was like, it was like early on. He was like, he's like, yeah, just like don't drink on stage unless like you're too nervous, you need one, then drink 2 beers. Exactly, like specifically 2 beers.
2 beers, not like, one. That's not enough. You won't cut your nerves enough. Drink 2 beers, but not more than that. You'll get sloppy.
Yeah, it was like
that's
I don't
hilarious.
know if we're like who we talk. I think we're talking about you.
How many beers did you have the first time you performed?
None. I like didn't drink.
Nice. Really?
I
don't drink. I had like 4 the first time I performed, dude. I was scared.
I can't drink on I can't drink on stage. I tried once.
I never drink.
I tried once and I bombed. I was just I couldn't do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
That first time you come off stage, that feeling of being like, what was I scared of?
True.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's such like an intense fear before you do it, and then it's over, and you're just like, well, that went by quick.
Dude, I remember one time I was having like so this is like a detour, but like so my brother, he's fine now, but he got like diagnosed with cancer, and there was like a big kind of like within my family because my grandma also had passed from cancer, so we were just kind of like freaking out. We just had like health anxiety, so we were just like I don't know. I just like all of us were like going through it, and like first I had like really bad, and I would just be like, I'm dying. And then like, genuinely the only thing that got me out of it was like doing stand up. Like, cause I think it was just like, what it was just like stress. You're just stressing over like your mind, just fucking stressing. And I would do stand up. I would go do a mic. And then the second I get off, it was like cured. It was like what I thought was like I was having a heart attack. I was like, nah. And then as soon as I would do stand up, I would get off, and it was like I think it's just like
that shot of adrenaline really helped.
Yeah, just like releasing and then releasing it. You know?
Right. Yeah.
It's just like there was a point in time where generally it was like that was the only thing like that would like help me. It didn't like drinking didn't help. Anything didn't help. Yeah. It was like okay, I just gotta like. I was like, I have this, and I should just be thankful for that. And that's like a big reason. Honestly, I think if I like stopped doing stand up, I think I would maybe go back to like. I don't know, just like sit, like fucking, like what the fuck am I doing? Actually, looking at the desk all day, just like what am I doing?
I'd be shoplifting probably. I really thought before I started doing comedy, I thought I was going to start a shoplifting ring.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was my big plan. I'm glad I didn't. Yeah. I keep seeing people get busted. They're like $1.5 million shoplifting ring taken down. I was like, that probably would have been me, dog.
This is just a ride for a while, dude. You would have been in jail for 21 years, then you'd come out and start driving me home from Scottsdale.
Yeah, dude, fucking 20 years. He must have killed someone. That's crazy.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, you killed someone. I was like, there's no doubt in my mind you killed. And I was like, I wasn't going to ask now. I was like, I'll ask closer to when I'm home.
Sure, right.
But it was
that makes sense. You're like checking if the child locks on.
Oh, for real.
It's like, is this door open from the inside? What are your goals for like the next? You're 22 now. You just graduated.
Technically, like last May.
You have a job.
In and
a
out
job
of,
that works for comedy.
In and out of jobs. So like I like had one for a little bit and then I'll quit. Right. But I'm probably gonna get this. We'll see. I'm interviewing, but there's a couple of things that I might get, which would be crazy. But like like one is like I did ASU, a comedy with ASU, and that's like it was very underground. And now they're kind of working like an initiative to like get more of that.
That's awesome.
So I like reached out myself because I saw they were having Marcelo Hernandez come, and I was like, hey, like I ran like this. If you guys need like features or openers, I was like, I've played this crowd. Like I grew up on this like crowd basically. And she hit me back and she was like, and it's the same as clubs, right? Where it's like, it really depends on the comic. Where it's like, in the contract, they're like, I want this person. Then it's like, then they're having that person.
Of course, yeah. Well, they're even if it's not in the contract, it's probably going to be whoever the comic wants.
Exactly. And it's like, there's cool comics that like, they want to develop the scene and stuff. And like, she was basically like, I'll put your name in like my registry, but also like if you have ideas how to like market it and stuff and all this stuff. And basically I had a phone call with her and I just told her like, all right, like it was basically one of those things. It's like, when they just have something kind of fall in their lap where it's like an incredible opportunity. That happens a lot. Where like, and she was like, I need help like marketing this. I need help. Like she's like, I'm not in the comedy world. Like I know nothing. And I was basically just walked her through like. And I gave her an idea right then and there on how to like kind of market for like the future because it's like in Sun Devil Arena. It's this like weird like cafeteria space. Yeah, and they turn into like a stage. It's super weird. Yeah, but like I kind of told her how to market and like right then and there, and then she was just like, you're like officially like on my committee. Like I'm gonna use you as much as I can because you like it was like I just happened to luck into like every experience that I had, like Tempe Improv, ASU, you know, like all this stuff just happened to work out perfectly for that. So
I mean, a big part of comedy is just being likable and helpful.
Yeah,
just
true.
What can you do to help other comics? What can you do to help the people around you? The shit matters a lot more than people realize.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people are just dicks for no reason. And it's like, it's going to hold you back. Like,
for real.
Being funny is like 10% of being a comic. It sucks. It's the most important 10%.
Yeah.
But it's 10% of what we do.
For real.
It sucks.
But yeah, there's a good chance I'll get like a part-time job working events for them.
Sure.
And then she was like, you could probably just work on the comedy stuff. I'm like, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
And then I have an interview for, I don't know, but for like an agency over the summer in New York.
Nice.
Like
that would be sick.
5.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it'd be sick if somebody from here actually moved to New York.
Well, I should. I mean,
I take shots on this podcast, Alex.
Get
the fuck out of here, Aldo.
I should like, I don't know. To me personally, like I would love to still be in AZ. Like I love AZ. I think it's such a cool scene. I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think I'm still getting opportunity, which is cool. Yeah. And it's like, but I do like, I visited New York for the first, I've never been on the East Coast, anywhere near the East Coast. Last November, I went out there and it was like night and day. I was like, I didn't even know people could live this way.
Right.
I was like, I didn't even understand like how I've only been like West
stacked
Coast
on each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane.
And I was like, I would be down to go experience that for a summer.
That's what I was saying. Like in my head, it was like, it's just a summer, you know, just go hang out in New York.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Meet people, maybe down the line, like I meet people that, you know, the people that I'm friends with, then they become the people that, you know, represent. And then.
Right.
Like,
I mean, the more connections you have, the better, man. Yeah. Like for real. Like a lot of this, like, is just knowing people and having them like you enough that they say yes when you ask.
That's real. That's so real.
Yeah. Like that's all it is. Like you can put together, there's a lot of people that put together like do-it-yourself tours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's because they know comics in every city. And it's like, that's a good way to like, if you can afford it and like make it happen, that's a good way to get good at comedy because like people don't realize how different crowds are in every region.
Yeah.
And it's like, a lot of comics here are just getting good for Phoenix crowds, and they don't realize how like
that's real
not good at comedy they are for other people.
What's cool is like, I mean, like I think like really interesting. Even though I just like talk shit about the scene, but like, because I would say from my experience, like Arizona, those crowds, they kind of like a little bit more of what's like popular in New York, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like that type of style, like very punched up, you know, that type of stuff. And then what's cool is like you can go to LA and it's like it's completely different. Like watching the comics that are doing well out there and their style, it's like I almost like can't wrap my head around it fully.
Yeah.
I'm like I feel like it's more like about being like the part about being likable is to the max, whereas like here I think it's like you have to be likable enough so that they, you know, they don't hate you, but like then it's about like just the, you know, like how funny are the punchlines, how, you know,
I mean being likable just to other comics too. Like a crowd doesn't like, you can have, I mean it's hard, but like there's people like Anthony Jeselnik who very much play like I'm a douchebag.
Yeah. And it's like a character.
So that's possible, but you're right. I know what you mean about LA. There's a lot of act outs.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of like, I don't know how to put it, but it's kind of frilly in a way.
Yeah. It's really weird.
It's really weird. I can't think of a good joke. I can't think of a joke that's not going to get me in trouble with anybody from the Pacific Northwest who listens to this. So I'm not going to say it just in case. I don't.
Yeah. But that's something I want to get. There is something to like learn from that. Like because like I did so much improv, I'm trying to incorporate like act outs and like voices and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
I think so too. Act outs are fun. I'm trying to get better at act outs.
Yeah.
I went and saw Ari Shafir at the Tempe Improv.
How was that?
It was insanely good, and he did a bunch of act outs. Like I was kind of amazed how much of his act was act outs, and like. To me, I was like, oh, that's really good. Like, it kind of inspired me.
You like Cat Williams?
Yes.
Yeah, his act outs are...
He's so funny.
Crazy.
Yeah. The one with the, like, he's like, it's like there's dance music playing, but he's also being like a baseball player
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
pitcher, and then like he hits it too. Like it's like the weird baseball dance. I don't know.
There's this comic named John Rudnitsky, and I took pictures from him like a couple years back, and he's like, I met him when like he was when I was working there at the Tempe Improv, and then he has like this whole bit, and it's like the plot of Dirty Dancing, but he's doing an act out like to like the song, and it's crazy. It's like a full. I think it's generally like a 7-8 minute act out,
Damn.
like fully. And it's hilarious.
That's
like,
awesome.
It's pretty cool, and that inspired me a lot.
I'm trying to take more risk on stage in general.
Same.
And by that I mean not just pedophile jokes. No, I've been doing a lot of those too.
I've been trying a lot to like truly be like I did an act out. This is an act out that does work when I fully commit to it right now.
Yeah.
And I just been trying to do it in every room. And I know like there's some rooms where like I do kind of like chicken out a bit, and I'm like, okay, that's good. Like I'm uncomfortable. That's good. That's, like
interesting.
That means like I'm getting better.
Yeah, I have an act out I do about little people, and you probably remember it. And sometimes I'll be doing that joke in a room, and people aren't even looking at me. I'm like, wow, nobody's gonna get this, like, because it's all visual.
Yeah, that's so too. Yeah, I get. Yeah, that's like the bad parts. But I mean, I'm not at the point where it's like you're in an arena and an act out doesn't work.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. That's not
theater.
a good sign. Yeah.
But like, that's. I'm just trying to be as uncomfortable as I can, like recently on stage, because and then like obviously punch up like my jokes, because I feel like if you have to do act outs and you have to be there, that also helps being present. Like that's what helps with improv a lot. You have to be present in improv, 'cause it's like it's a full body thing.
Right.
You're not just standing there.
Yeah.
So you got to be there. You know?
Totally. Have you ever you said you did improv when you were younger?
Yeah.
When did you you haven't done it in a while though?
Well, actually, like ever since, so I graduated last May. That was like it, because I did it all throughout, not all throughout high school. Well, like I did through high school and all throughout college.
That's so sick.
And then
that probably serves you really well. I'd lean into that a little bit more than you do.
That
would be my advice.
That's what I'm going back to, because like in the beginning it was like I'm like not doing any of it because it was like, you know,
there's a safety in material.
There's a safety in it, and then like, recently, like I've been running the show called like AZ After Dark with Forbes Shannon.
Yeah.
Forbes, and he was like there's improv in it because he did improv too, and he he'll put me in it. He'll just like, because I host the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then like I'll do like 10 minutes, and then I bring up like an improv troupe, and then I bring up like other comics, and then bring up the headliner. And then during the improv though, like he'll just hit me. He's like, hey, like, go join this scene.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna join this, you know. And like I did it recently, and I realized like how much of like my own comedic voice is still like rooted in that.
Right.
Where I'm like, oh, like I'm missing. You're right. Like I'm missing out. And I have like friends tell me that in the past, and I didn't like really take it to heart. Or they were just like I feel like your stuff's so tightly written that sometimes it doesn't allow you to fully get like the biggest laugh you can.
Yes.
It's like, yet you're like a slave to the punchline. And like
I had that problem a lot, and probably still do to some extent, though I'm definitely getting better. I had a problem a lot when I started. I was very committed to what I was going to say, what I had planned to say. I did this, all my jokes, I did it this exact same wording every time, which I still basically do. Yeah. I believe there's basically a right way to have written a joke.
For sure, yeah.
For the most part. But I'm also a lot, like, more comfortable just letting a couple lines of riffing go or whatever. Yeah, and that can make a big difference.
No, for sure. Yeah, that also lets people know you're comfortable and knows, like, you know, it's like a conversation more than, like, and this and this and this is a list.
Right. For sure, a crowd can tell when it feels memorized like you're rehearsing. Like you've rehearsed this material before, and they don't like that. Yeah. Though it matters like less in a club. You know, it's like weird. It's like it matters the most at an open mic where it's just comics. Yeah. They like won't. They're like, oh, this is a bit. We're not gonna laugh. Just
tune out.
Yeah. Just make somebody for being black or something.
Like that's like a way to get through open. Like there's like a good reset during open mics to like get people to laugh at you is like if you can do like a joke, if you get them up top with something like the past comic, then they'll listen to that first joke. If it does well, then they might just go with you. but also like, you know, like if you can just make a quick riff in between a joke that's like about the moment and it gets him back, and like it's like, right, if you bomb a joke and it's like, oh, that one sucks, and then like you move forward, then like I feel like that's what actually gets me feedback in any room, no matter like how bad the room is.
Straight up.
They actually listen to the next thing you say, because there's that expectation like, okay, this was funny. Is the next one funny? And then like I get actual feedback like, oh, it wasn't. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Whatever, comedy's lame. Who cares?
Comedy fucking sucks, dude. It'll make you fucking suicidal.
It's all random. There's no way to do this. So.
Yeah. I mean, what? How? Okay, let's end on a hot subject. How do you feel about people using notes?
Oh, like on stage?
Yeah.
Like during a mic?
No, I mean, let's add some qualifiers. Let's start with an open mic. Do you care if somebody uses notes in an open mic? Fuck no, that doesn't matter.
Fuck, like that's what I do is like I have like a little notebook, and then I summarize. I basically like an entire joke. I'll just name it like one word, and then I'll just have my set list. So I'll just be like 1, 2. Usually like 4 or 5. Maybe I usually don't get through it, but like, yeah, like I'll just put the name of the bits.
Sure.
And then
what about at a show, Alex?
Then I don't do that.
Yeah, but hell yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know. I think it depends, right? Like I heard from one time the same guy who like told me the beer thing, where he was like, there's a certain, I think when you get to a certain level, like for like a touring headliner,
yeah,
it's like, I mean, I've seen like Jeffrey Asmus.
Yeah, he had a notebook. He had a
notes.
full notebook.
Yeah,
that was kind of crazy.
One of the funniest.
He's very funny. It also very much, I went and saw him, very much took me out of his set that he went and read from a notebook? In between every bit. Okay, I thought, I don't know.
I get that, yeah.
It annoys me. I don't know why it annoys me.
I get that. I think there's just a level of like, I think it's like
I give him some leeway.
Yeah.
Because he had just recorded a special.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ, doing an hour of new material. Like, I get that a little bit. So I'll give Jeff some leeway. But like with the caveat that like I still found it like off-putting and was would much rather have preferred he had not.
I think,
and when you watch his special and he doesn't, you're like, oh, this is way better.
I think it's like comedy and it's still like it has magic to it.
Yeah,
it's like a magic in a lot of ways where it's like you don't want to see the trick, you don't want to see like the backhand of the trick. You don't want to see inside the box where the woman gets cut in half.
That's how I feel.
You want to believe. It's like that's why so many people when they start comedy they think like, oh, I didn't know that people wrote it. I thought people just get up there and improv it.
Yeah.
Because it comes off that way when you have like a professional
comedian.
If you're
good, yeah.
Yeah, that it's just like, it's like, oh, they just thought of this, you know?
Right.
It's such an interesting, I think that's why it's like, it's almost like a magical act. It's like, wow, someone got up here and talked for an hour. Like, that's crazy. And I think that's why crowd work took off so big, is because like now it's like even proven in a way, even though like a lot of the crowd work people, like they've done that crowd work before, like they know the angles to take because they've done it so much.
Yeah, of course.
And but it is like to the now.
But there's an element of genuine spontaneity.
Yeah.
Spontaneity, whatever. Spontaneity.
Yeah.
Whatever that word is. God damn it, I'm dumb. Spontaneity.
I'm dumb
Who
too.
knows?
But yeah, I think that's why that's like, because it's like that's like an actual magic trick. It's like, oh, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. That's how I feel about it, and I don't give a shit if anybody uses notes at a mic. But it's weird to me when people do on shows, and I know a lot of bookers and like club owners care. So it's like weird when comics don't at least like run it by them. Like, is it cool if I use notes?
Well, yeah. How do you feel about like, I saw this thing recently where it was like openers like can't do crowd work, like
I think that's like a general rule.
Yeah, that's what
like when I worked at Stir Crazy. When I hosted there, it said, host, please keep it fairly clean.
Yeah.
Features, please don't do any crowd work.
Okay, yeah.
And then had some advice for the headliner. The headliner was like, get off stage at 45 minutes. We don't. Like, something about how there's going to be a check drop during.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's like.
The time.
Yeah.
And I think for like hosting, because that's what like, hosting is like the thing I've done the most. Like I've hosted.
Good. Yeah, it's good for you.
100 hours or something. But like fucking but like a lot of hosting is genuinely just like that. Hey, like, okay, good crowd tonight. Like, you know, just like kind of crowd work. It's just like birthdays tonight, you know, a lot of stuff to just get them used to the idea of it.
Yes.
So I was like, what do you consider crowd work? It's like just fully doing bits off of how someone looks, or is it like no?
I think hosts are allowed to like.
You got to interact with them.
Right. I think just it's kind of like don't be too specific.
Yeah, don't take a joke from the headliner. Basically.
Yeah. That's what they're concerned about.
Yeah.
All right, dude. We did an hour. It's fun. Plug your social media.
I'm at Instagram at alexaguilartime. Same for YouTube. I'm probably gonna be posting some clips and other sketches as well soon. So hit me up.
Follow them on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that'll both those and all your socials will be in the video description.
Hell yeah, that's what's up.
Thanks for being here, dude.